Reading and writing are a lot like talking and listening. When you read something, you're listening to what the author has to say to you, except the author's not there. And when you're writing to someone, you are speaking to that person, except that person's not right in front of you. So talking and listening is something that if you misunderstood what the other person was saying to you, perhaps you would like crinkle up your face a little bit and go, hmm. And they would read that, they would read your face and know that, I don't think that other person understood what I said. Maybe I'll need to restate this. The author only has one opportunity to get you to understand what he or she meant. And when you're writing, you are giving the other person who's actually listening to you when they read it, that you're giving them only one chance to understand as well. Now, the listener might, the reader, the listener, might have to go back and reread, but sometimes that's a struggle, and a lot of times it doesn't help. So I want to give you some information about clues that you can find within the sentence structure. And I want to also encourage you to put those clues in the sentences that you write, so you can give your reader and listener, because the reader is the listener to what you are writing, a better opportunity of understanding what you have to say. Let's look at some of the sentences that I have on the board. He looked disheveled in his clothes. His clothes were disheveled. If you knew what the word disheveled means, this sentence would be fine. But if you are just learning this new vocabulary word, you would have trouble in this sentence because it doesn't give you enough clues as to know what disheveled is talking about. Do the clothes look clean? Do the clothes look spiffy on this person? What exactly does disheveled mean? And the second sentence is even worse because his clothes were disheveled. Does that mean that they were in the closet? They were in the laundry? Were they on his bed? What's disheveled? When you actually put a clue, dropping breadcrumbs there along the way so a person can follow the trail, sometimes a sentence can give away the meaning of a harder word like this one in the context of the sentence. Let's take a look at the next one. Here's the word disheveled again. This time, his messy, untucked shirt made him look disheveled, but his hair was neatly combed. You've got a couple of clues in this one. We start out with messy, untucked shirt. Well, I think that you probably know what that is. Made him look disheveled. Well, have you ever seen anybody with a messy, untucked shirt? How do they look to you? And then we have the word but here that reverses. That's reverses whatever I'm saying in this part of the sentence is reversed in the last part, because but is a contrasting conjunction. But his hair was neatly combed. So we've got the opposite of whatever this messy, untucked shirt disheveled means. So now maybe you could give a definition of disheveled. You probably would be able to say disheveled is kind of messy, all, not very neat at all. So these were clues to you inside of this sentence structure. And then the reversal of it, where we had this contrasting conjunction, and then followed by neatly. So we've got our contrasting here. So disheveled, you could infer, you could suppose that disheveled meant being messy. Now that you have an understanding of what disheveled means, kind of messed up and all over the place, Perhaps you could use this term disheveled in other places. What else could be messy? Your closet? How about every house has a junk drawer in the kitchen, I think. Mine always did. Just where you throw things that, I don't know what this category is. Well, I'll put it here. I'll put it in this drawer. And when you open the drawer, it's like, oh, you can't find anything. You're digging around for everything. That's disheveled. If you throw things into your book bag and not keep it neatly in a notebook, you throw your papers in there and then you can't find anything. That's disheveled. So now you've learned your vocabulary word, and now you think of ways that you can use it in other situations.